Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Braden Timmons, and welcome to my new set as well. This is my temporary set where I will be making videos from now on, so that way I can continue to make videos for my channel. I know it's not as cool as my other set, but don't worry, you guys are on this journey with me together. We will have a cool setup eventually. I'm not sure as to when. I don't know what the timeline is going to be for it, but at least I can still make videos, right? But today, guys, we are going to be continuing our Halloween Returns journey. Seriously, the feedback from last week's video was awesome. I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed that one. This week, we're gonna dive just a little bit further into the Halloween Returns script. Only because there are two parts that I want to talk about in particular. The other part that I want to talk about is going to come in probably part 4. I think this is going to be a 4-part series in all. This is part 2. In this video, I want to talk about Michael Myers escaping the Warren County Correctional Center, which is what Smith's Grove is technically called in Halloween Returns, or what it would have been called in Halloween Returns, which is interesting. I don't understand why they decided not to call it Smith's Grove, because in the script it says like October 30th Warren County Correctional Center. It doesn't say Smith's Grove Warren County Correctional Center. So I guess they also decided to omit Smith's Grove from the equation as well, which is something that I don't like. I remember last week I was like, oh yeah, this is the perfect Halloween movie, or it would have been a perfect Halloween movie. That would have been a gripe of mine, is that they didn't call the correctional center Smith's Grove, which is interesting. So yeah, guys, I don't want to bore you guys with the details of what I covered last week. I do just want to say one thing, and it's the fact that I remember that I said that this film opened on Halloween night 1978 and then jump cut 10 years later after Michael Myers was captured and taken in. That's completely false. This film actually doesn't have a specific date that it takes place. So say, for example, the movie came out this year for whatever reason in 2020. That would have just meant that the film opened in 2010 and then jump cut 10 years later. So there's no real time period as to when this does take place. It's just modern day Halloween. That's pretty much it. So the idea, I guess, behind that was just to make it take place in modern day, so that way people could connect with it, especially because a lot of the characters have iPhones and there are computers and there are medical machines and stuff like that. Just technology that wouldn't exist back in 1988. How that's not something I caught during my first read, I have no idea. I might have just thought that it took place on Halloween night in 1978 because it decided to retcon that, but that's just it. So last week I covered the characters that we got introduced to. So if you guys remember, this film specifically focuses on our two protagonists, Dr. Paul Rogers and his daughter Sophia, and how they have a rocky relationship, which I actually really like. I think that the character development in this script is fantastic. Sophia is a character that I feel I can connect with. You understand why she feels the way she does towards her dad, and it's because he's put all of his time, he's put 10 years of his time in that sanitarium looking over Michael Myers, testifying against Michael Myers, so that way he can get the death sentence on October 30th of whatever year this film takes place in. And we actually get some really powerful scenes prior to the execution. Like, Sophia gets stood up by her dad again, and she's very upset about that, so she actually goes to the Warren County Correctional Center, is in his office talking to him. That's when we get this emotional scene, and if you guys have read the script, you guys know what I mean. And she actually wants to be there. She wants to watch this monster die. She wants to watch Michael Myers die, because she explains that it is going to be good for the both of them, because it's all going to be over and he can finally rest at ease knowing that the monster is dead. Shortly after that, though, Dr. Rogers walks out of his office because he's trying to look for his secretary. He's trying to tell Sophia that she's not old enough to witness something like that, and she's like, well, I'm 18, typical teenager stuff. Another thing that these writers actually got right is the dynamic of being a teenager. You know, how an 18-year-old, that's exactly what an 18-year-old would say. They're like, well, I'm 18, I think I'm old enough to do this. So anyway, Dr. Rogers walks out of his office. Sophia sees the key card, because remember, she's trying to get one of her friends, Noah, into this execution as well, because Noah was impacted because he saw his mom get killed on that Halloween night 10 years prior. So she grabs her dad's key card and she notices a door that leads to a long hallway. And at the end of that hallway is Myers' cell. And the atmosphere in this entire scene, guys, the execution scene, don't worry, we're getting there. I promise you, could have been one of the most iconic scenes in the entire Halloween franchise. and you guys will see exactly what I mean when we start talking about it. But Sophia grabs the key card, unlocks the door, and starts walking down the hallway. And the reason that I bring up this scene is because it has a major impact as to what sets Michael off during the execution. So Michael Myers sees Sophia at the end of this hallway. He sees her. And remember when he saw Laurie Strode in Halloween 1978, how he had no set motive as to why he wanted to go after her. Laurie Strode just came up to his house, set the key under the mat, and Michael saw her and just started stalking her. That's it. That's essentially the exact same thing here, except for the fact that now he knows Dr. Paul Rogers has a daughter, and this is her. So I think that this is what sets Michael off and makes him want to go after her. Now, of course, that humanizes him a little bit, but I also like how this is very reminiscent of 1978. He just sees Sophia, doesn't know who she is at first. All he knows is that she has this key card. She is now in this hallway, and Michael notices her. And then her dad comes in and says, "What the hell are you doing?" And at the end of the hallway, all you hear is Michael's breaths, and you can just see him like clenching the gate. So he escorts Sophia out. She still has access to her dad's key card. He doesn't even realize it's gone until later on, and boom, she has access to it. She goes and picks up Noah, and now we have our execution scene. The execution scene is hands down, I said it earlier, I'll say it now, it hands down could have been one of the most iconic scenes in the Halloween franchise, because the atmosphere in the scene, I mean, there are news reporters all over the place. It's October 30th. It's thunderstorming. It's raining. Everybody's coming in and taking their seats. It kind of reminds me of the scene from Inglourious Basterds. It reminds me of the theater scene. And you guys will probably get a sense of that here in just a couple minutes as the scene continues to play out. But essentially, everybody's coming into this auditorium to take their seats. They're coming into this chamber, I should say. You've got the medical table, you've got the medical examiner, and you've got the two specialists that are there to put the lethal injection liquid into Michael so that way he can die. Amongst the crowd is Karen. Karen's the young woman who Michael was following on Halloween night the 10 years prior. She was impacted by Michael because she got stabbed in the neck and now has to walk with a cane. Other people that were infected by Michael are within the audience. Not that they were stabbed or anything, but those that lost loved ones are there in the audience. Dr. Rogers is just chilling in his office, just trying to enjoy some time. He's actually getting ready to take a pill to calm him down when Warden, I think Hellman or something like that, walks in and he says, "It's time." And Dr. Rogers just looks at him. And they just make eye contact, and he just nods his head. And he unlocks Myers' cell, and they walk him with a few guards down to the chamber where it will begin. The thing I love, guys, is the way it's written. I can literally just hear everything as I'm reading it. Like the rain pellets just hitting the windows and stuff like that. You can just hear it. You can hear the thunder distantly, like it's outside. Michael's getting brought into the chamber. Everybody's watching him. Everybody sees him getting ready to die. Everybody sees the Halloween killer is what he's called in this script. Everybody sees him just getting ready to die on this table because this is a celebration to a lot of them. That's exactly what it's being looked at as. This is somebody that has really impacted a lot of people. So Michael gets down on the table. He's getting all strapped in. The warden and Dr. Rogers, they go take their seat in the audience. Sophia goes to pick up Noah, and they actually end up getting in. And this is exactly what I meant when this was going to have an impact as to how Michael gets out, because the thing that sets Michael off during the execution is he sees Sophia in the audience. But before that, as the liquid and stuff like that is getting injected into Michael's veins, he starts clenching up. He starts moving. He starts freaking out. At first, he's kind of calm. At first, Michael's just calm. At first, we can see from his point of view that he's just kind of fading in and out, in and out. And then it's when he sees Sophia that he starts completely freaking out. Like, he starts like moving and jolting, and his arms and muscles are just completely bulged. You could see the veins that the needles are in. One of them actually pops out and blood starts like spewing. So the medical examiner has to come up and try and reinsert the needle. But as that happens, a freaking giant strike of lightning hits, and all of the lights in the correctional center just goes out, and everybody starts freaking out. Everybody starts to panic. Everybody was technically panicking when Michael started, like, you know, freaking out, because they were like, what the hell? How is he not dying? There's already 2 needles with this serum going into Michael's veins, and he's still not dying. Instead, he's actually moving. But everybody freaks out. Like, the whole audience just freaks out when the lights all go out, and the warden's like, calm down, everybody. You know, we have a backup generator specifically for stuff like this. Dr. Rogers is up and he's trying to open the door, but the electricity's out. This then brings me to a scene that I feel like is very much like Halloween 6. I feel like that the writers were like, okay, Halloween 6, let's kind of just condense that down a little bit more. So Michael is still laying on this bed, and one of the medical examiners walks up and tries to reinsert the needle into his arm. And what do you think happens? A flash of lightning, and he snaps one of the armrests off and sticks the medical examiner in the throat. Now that doesn't kill him, but then he grabs the other one and twists his neck 180 degrees. It's pretty much a slaughterhouse. The way Michael gets out, it's just like following him on a path of bodies. The body count in this film would have been absolutely crazy. It actually would have been a very fair amount for a Halloween movie, and this was just following Michael as he got out. The power finally comes back on. Dr. Rogers opens it, and he sees the medical examiner's bodies in there, and he knows Michael is on his way out. Now remember, you've got a lot of different people in Smith's Grove right now. You've got the audience that was there. You have the guards that are all fleeing in now that the power's out and they think that something is wrong. And Dr. Rogers, he's just finding this trail of bodies as Michael Myers is going. And that's when Dr. Rogers turns and he sees his daughter, Sophia. He's like, why is she here? And it's because she didn't listen to her dad. Way to go, Sophia. You're the reason that Michael Myers got out. Way to go. No, but seriously, Dr. Rogers, he continues to find a trail of bodies. Gary Hunt is there, and it is just essentially a shit show, guys. And one of the best kills in the movie would have been Karen, because Dr. Rogers actually sees Karen get killed. He hears a woman scream at the end of the hallway, and remember Karen, she's the one that survived 10 years earlier. Now she's caught by Michael Myers. Dr. Rogers comes around a corner and sees her. He's like, get out of here, but she can't move. She's shaking, and all of a sudden she starts getting lifted up off the ground, and Michael has her in one hand, is lifting her off the ground, has a knife in the other, and then literally Dr. Rogers goes, Michael, no, and Michael drops her onto the knife and just completely cuts up her back. Guys, I'm telling you right now, Halloween Returns, I absolutely love it. The mood, the atmosphere, this scene alone, just with Dr. Rogers finding a trail of bodies after the failed execution, I feel like that this could have been one of the most iconic scenes in the entire Halloween franchise. Just with the loud thunder crack and just with all of the power going out, I can just see stuff like this really shocking an audience. And the nice thing is that they never show Michael's face either. Even though that his entire face is essentially exposed right here, they never show his face. You're always seeing him from either the back of his head or he's just blurred, so you're never gonna be able to see him, guys. I really think that this could have been a damn good Halloween movie. I can't wait to talk about more of this next week now that Michael is out on the loose. Next week isn't going to be a scene breakdown. It's just going to be talking more about returns and like everything that essentially happens when Michael gets into town. And then obviously part 4 will be another scene breakdown. It's going to be the entire ending that does take place in one location at a Halloween party. And I'm very, very excited to move forward in this series with you guys. But with that being said, post your guys' comments down below. Let me know, what do you guys think of the Halloween Returns script so far? Can you guys see what I mean when this movie could have been freaking awesome? And do you guys think it could have been a good Halloween movie? Whatever your guys' thoughts are, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you guys like this, don't forget to join me on my journey to 5,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys in my next video.